Good evening from InvestSharp.com. This is Randy Smotone with your Wednesday, December the 29th market update. So we had another the same story each day in the market. We either pretty much go sideways or we slowly grind higher. We did pull back just a little bit towards the close, but still continues to hold up well. So the dollar, copper, and oil were down today. Gold and silver were up. Light sweet crude futures were down 37 cents to settle at $91.12 a barrel. So to look at the dollar via the ETF UUP, so we did lose the 30-day moving average today. Not much selling behind it. Of course, the stochastics momentum index is turned back down. So the dollar's a little weak. Over to the West Texas Intermediate Crude Point Figure chart. No changes here. I mean, we didn't move much today. We still have this $105 a barrel price objective and a point and figure. There is no time frame to that. Take a look at the Russell. Actually, the Russell, S&P, and Dow were pretty much all flat on the day. They almost had the same. Russell was up 0.1%. That was pretty close to what the Dow, S&P, they were all around that too. So Russell was up a whole 80 cents. Still can't seem to get, we got this trend line here and we're still consolidating in a pretty tight range though up here, which I mean, it can be bullish. So we're at 790. The Dow up 0.09. Did have a definitely pulled back. It was much higher during the day and pulled back, and doesn't always necessarily mean a reversal. So it had a little, not really, stem wasn't really long enough for a shooting star, but had a little inverted type hammer. And S&P, same thing here, still in a very tight range. I mean, we're continue to hold up well, not going anywhere. Looks fine. And Nasdaq was actually the weakest. Nasdaq was down a whole 0.11%, down 3 points. So still this tight little kind of a doji string, not moving much. Volume across the index ETFs were about 60% less than average daily volume, with the exception of the diamonds. The DIA, it was kind of interesting. The diamonds volume was actually 13% above average daily volume. So there was definitely some interest in the diamonds, but of course it didn't really move it much. But there's some volume coming in here. So let's take a look at GLD. Look at gold ETF. Looks fine. Stochastic momentum pointed almost straight up actually. Still holding. It had this gap up. Went a little bit higher today. Still looks fine. Silver, same thing. Still looks good. Coppers looks fine, just kind of resting, just sitting there. The Euro ETF, FXE is up, still holding above this black line's the 200-day moving average. Got the 30-day moving average above it. Plus, it's got this downtrend line. Then it's a hit, got rejected, hit, got rejected. We'll see what it does this time. Euro did get a little bit of a bounce today. Look at the volatility index. Didn't move a whole lot, down 1.37%. Pulled back just a little bit here, but the of course stochastics momentum index is pointed up. And let's go take a look at the McClellan oscillator, which I'm sure it's more the same, since when we get in these tight ranges that we aren't moving much at all, then these oscillators, then McClellan doesn't move a whole lot. So up at 1950, went up just a little bit. So we're not overbought though. Overbought would be up here and oversold down here. Now I have talked about that we are, as far as on the relative strength index, we're overbought in all of them. Russell, Dow, Nasdaq, they all saying it's pretty overbought here. So let's take a look at the sectors. So 9 of the 16 sectors we follow finished in the green. Oil service index had the larger percent gain, up 1.54%. The broker dealer index was the weakest, down 0.67%. So over to chart watch. I'm not going to go through a lot of, most of the ags we've been talking about, and most of them had really nice breakouts today, so I won't really go through those. Try to find some charts here that maybe haven't broken out yet. I did talk about this this valet or veil, however it's pronounced. I think it's Falaise, wow, it's supposed to be pronounced. Brazil stock. So it's held this. I had a nice bounce every time it's been around this this uptrend line, and also let's get the moving averages right, 50. So it had a nice bounce today off this uptrend line, off the 50. Stochastic's just now turning, so it's possible. It's had resistance at this downtrend line. We'll see what it does there, but pretty low risk buy point. If you've could have bought it today, and since it did take out the high and actually closed over the high of the low day, which often I use for entries. So looks fine here. We'll see if it's going to return its uptrend or not. Southwest Energy still fine. It's got the 200-day right here, and it's also got it's been in this kind of this wedge. We've been holding this. We bought it down in here somewhere, and we are in this one. And we're still holding it. It's got some resistance here, and it could pull back down here a little bit, but I still like it. And so can you hold that? Sunstone Hotel Investors. This one isn't ready for anything yet, but I do like how it's coiling here. So you might want to keep it on your radar. Maybe you set you some alerts. You possibly, if I don't know if there's shares to short. It should be. It's liquid enough. Short it here, long here. But I like how it's coiling. Covidian, talked about this before. It's had this breakout above the trend line here. You can't see the whole thing. Let me move it here a little bit. There you go. So nice breakout here, still holding up fine. So looks it could be eventually getting ready for its next move higher. So I want to bring that one back up. IBM did break out today, and it kind of like the market started pulling back late in the day because it had this prior resistance up here of its high, and that seems to be the norm nowadays. Is all these anything that moves up as far as breakouts pretty much gets the profit taking and everyone exits. So Atwood, I like how it's it's holding its moving averages here, and it's bought off the 30. It's still holding the 30-day here, and it is in this kind of rising wedge, and it looks pretty decent here, not too bad. Probably wanted to see it maybe close over here, but I think that's interesting setup working there. Allegheny Technologies, I like the flag here. It needs to take out the well, you can't even see it. Had a little tiny just a doji today, so I'd like to see it take out this uptrend line, but had a nice breakout out of this. It had been coiling in this triangle, so that one's looking pretty good too. BEAV, this one's not ready to go yet, but is also working on a triangle. It's coiling, and it's holding the above the 50. It's been this orangish line's 50, so it's still holding above. So that one could be setting up soon. And MRVL, Marvell Technology. Lots of buying. I've seen a lot of buying here, not a lot of selling, but of course it keeps falling. But it does look like it could be in a falling, wedge here. We'll see, but it's taken out the moving average. It is holding the 200 though, so it touched 200 here. The black line's to 200, and it's holding 200 there. So so far it looks like it's kind of stabilized here, but it needs to take out the downtrend line and see if it will continue into its uptrend there. But another one that's could be setting up soon. IDT, like this flag, looks good. Had a lot of volume there on the earnings, went higher. INTAP also still holding up, still holding this uptrend line really well. It's above, actually it's above its 10-day moving average, so it's real strong, pretty tight little doji string working here. And RES, this is a little oil well services company, and it's got good fundamentals. If you look here, of course, it's had quite a bit of selling, lots of selling down in here, but it has been, once it broke out above here, once it got bought around this, like again, the orange line's the 50-day moving average. It got bought there at the 50, didn't quite make it that time, got to the 50, and they came in and bought it and made sure it closed above the 50. So looks kind of interesting here. So you want to keep an eye on this little oil services company, RES. Tech Resources still holding its breakout. Looks good. DEC, still watching this one. It hasn't broken out of its little flag yet. Still watching it. FFIV holding the 30. Another one that's got this little tiny tight little movements. Looks like that it could pop any day. Vornado Realty Trust looks like an ascending triangle near breakout. Needs to take out today's high with volume. It ran into the 50-day moving average, and it's sitting there. Looks like it could be breaking out soon. Akana, Like this one also. It's of course got some moving averages above it here, but it's a nice, stochastics moving right up here. Broke out of this out of its little triangle. It's looking good for higher prices. Morgan Stanley still holding up well, still looks good. Goldman Sachs, quite a bit of selling today, but it actually did hold its uptrend line if you touched here and here and here. So kind of just watching to see what it's going to do from here. We talked about this before, healthcare services group. Still watching it. This one could be setting up if it can take out, break out here. Looks good though. And VMC, Vulcan Materials, and we are holding this one here, and I like the breakout above the downtrend line, some volume coming back in, and so it looks like they've had big runs, and it really sells off, then it big runs and it sells off. So we'll see what it does this time, but if materials continue higher, this one should do well. Stryker, we've been in and out of this one, and I still like it. Just broke out of its little bull flag, looks good. MCHP, talked about this one too, still holding up fine, holding up trend line open, still watching it. CTXS, still holding the 30, not moving a whole lot, but watching this one also. Medtronics, I've been watching this, was still holding the breakout of this ascending pattern, and it's got the 200-day that it's running into, but I'm still watching it, and the PE on this is really cheap. It's like, I have to remember what it was. I looked it up. It was 12 or 13. So, and I know it's been talked about quite a bit on CNBC as well. Coles still holding. Did pull back some today with the market, but still holding the 50. Still looks good here. PCL still holding the breakout. BXP still holding its breakout. Looks good. Avalon Bay still holding its breakout. Looks good. All these real estate investment trusts did close over the 50 today, looking pretty good. SPG, Simon Properties, and still looks pretty good here. AER, looks like if it can take out yesterday's high, then there's a lot of volume coming in, so it looks like it's about ready to take off again. QLogic, been watching this one. It's been it looks like it's in this longer term triangle, but it's been holding this. This is where it's had support, and it's still it hasn't moved anywhere yet, but I'm still kind of watching it, see how it acts here. And let's see, Broadcom, another one I'm watching because it's near the 50, hasn't made a move yet, but if it can take out and break through here, probably would jump on board that one. And then these healthcare information services, I talked about them about probably a week ago, maybe it was a little over a week ago. Most of these are still looking really good. Quality Systems, nice tight little flag there, looks good. CERN still looking good. So keep an eye on that one. Allscripts Healthcare Solutions just broke out of its flag today, so that's looking good. MDSO also holding the 10, bounced off the 10-day moving average day. It's looking good. And MRGE, so it needs to break out over 4, but come down here and touch the 30. Also looking good. So on deck for tomorrow, we'll have the weekly jobless claims at 8:30. We're going to get monthly pending home sales at 10, weekly nat gas report at 10:30, and the weekly petroleum status report at 11 a.m. I hate it on these holidays. They move these things around. I get the days wrong sometimes. I guess I should look at the calendar, huh? So, and all in Eastern time. And then what else? Also on the current market signals, nothing's changed here, but the Dow did actually print, because it went higher today, did print a new price objective. So the point and figure chart has a new price objective for the Dow now of 12,950. So that did increase today. So that was one change here on the point and figure. All right, that's it for today. Thanks for watching.